Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter Show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib. And we have a great show for you tonight. And if you want to call and ask questions, you can call in right now at 323-870-3857. And we'll be here till about 8 o'clock, 8:30, somewhere around there. Raeese, the Beast Aleem, is joining us in a few minutes. I'm excited about this one. I know Beeb's excited about this one. Can't wait to talk to him. Conor McGregor retires again. This just came in last night. He retired again, Beeb, your boy. But first, we're going to get started with this. I tell you what, we were going to get started with upcoming fights, but I tell you what, this news just came across the wire here. Michaela Mayer tests positive for COVID-19. We just got this story a little bit ago, and I tell you what, this was odd to say the least, man. Michaela Mayer announced on social media today that she had the following to say, quote, "I am currently asymptomatic and I'm quarantining at an off-site location per recommended health guidelines. The rest of my team tested negative and they are all in good health." So she is obviously off the top-ranked card. You know, you're going to see this a lot. I have a feeling you're going to see this a lot. You know, she was asymptomatic, which is good news. I mean, you know, obviously you don't want her to have it. So if she's got it and she's asymptomatic, that's the best thing that can happen. But, you know, she's also exposed a lot of other people because she doesn't know she has it, you know? And this is one of those things, man. We're going to see this more and more as things start going, as athletic, you know, sports and everything like that start to get going, football, baseball, whatever. One's going to get it. And, you know, and how are they going to keep these guys separate from other sports? It's hard enough in boxing. You have your team around you and everything like that. Yeah, this is a big shot to I believe she was the co-main on that Tuesday fight. Beeb, was that correct?
Yeah, she was being co-featured. That's correct.
Yeah, she's the co-main on that. So it's my goodness, man, this is a big one. You know, what do I mean, this is going to happen. I guess you have to just keep going forward. There's nothing you can do. You have to keep going forward. But I don't know, man. You
heard what Bob said during the interview that I think he says he had 5 fights scheduled, and you know, with the probability, or you know, just in case this happened, that he had a backup where he just would scale the card down to 4 instead of 5. So I think he said he had five fights, and if one of them fell through, then he would just go with the 4. In other words, so
that's all you can do.
But
that's all you can do. You can't even have you know how in PBC, how they put 80 fights on a card. You know, when you go to PBC and you show up there, you know the fights start about 5:30, and you don't get out of there till 1 o'clock, and there's no break. They don't have intermissions there. The only intermission they have is from 8:30 or 8:45 to 9 o'clock when they start, or whenever they start. You know what I mean? That's it. You know, so I mean, they're running constantly, man. That's a well-oiled machine over there. And you know, I think those days might be numbered for a little while anyway, of having 14, 10 to 12 bouts on a card. That might not fly anymore, especially trying to get these guys. You know, I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, she's at, they're not, I don't think they're doing pressers or anything like that. If they are, it's all phone based, I would assume. But that's, this is the risk you're running, man. It's a crazy thing. And numbers are ticking up. That's the other thing, is numbers are ticking up. They've been hovering around 20,000 and they've been slowly ticking back up. 22,000 yesterday. I don't know what it was today, but yeah, I mean, as things start to open up, they expect that uptick. But it's an odd thing, man. It really is.
Well, the big thing too is, Bob says he has a contingency plan. If one of the fights falls through, he scales the card down to 4 instead of 5. But what happens if someone else on another fight on the card test positive. Then you scale it down to 3. In certain cases, there could be situations where the whole card may have it. That's not out of the realm of possibility, right? That could
Not at all.
that could potentially happen, right?
It absolutely could. I mean, anytime you got a card like this, I mean, at some point they got to come together. I don't know how they're doing it. Like I said, I don't know what the protocols are, and I know that with Top Rank and everybody, they're pretty competent over there. Let's just say that. They're very competent over there, so they're doing the best they can to keep everybody separate and that kind of thing. But it's just, I mean, this is. I tell you what, man, for a promoter, this has got to be a nightmare.
Well, Dana White seems to have a good system going. I mean, what's he has 5 events in already.
You know what? And he's only had one person test positive.
Yeah, 5 events in already, and
yeah.
I guess what I'm hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Top Rank's going to be doing like 2 shows a week now, or something like that.
Something like that. Well, they got a show. They got a show on Tuesday, and I believe it's on Saturday. Is it Friday? Tuesday and Friday.
Tuesday and Friday. Yeah.
Yeah, and Shakur Stevenson's still the headliner there. So he's ready to go. He's a go on Tuesday. He's the headliner for Tuesday, and then Jesse Magdaleno on Friday.
Eddie
headliner
Hearn
over there.
Eddie Hearn's already hating, saying, "Oh well, when we come back, we're gonna wait because we want to put on better fights than that." No offense to Top Rank, but those aren't great fights. And it's like, Eddie, come on.
Great. Well, Eddie, hey, do something. I mean, at least put your foot in the water.
So it's Dillian White. Dillian White, Alexander Povetkin. It's a good fight. It's a good fight. It's not a great fight. It's a good fight.
Good fight.
What's
not
wrong
a great fight.
What's wrong with the Shakur Stevenson fight? It's a good fight.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that fight. I think that's a very good fight.
Until they can get live crowds, the reality of the situation is fights like Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder and Joshua versus Tyson Fury. Those fights are going to have to go to Asia, or if they're going to stay in Europe or stateside or whatever, they can't do those fights without a live crowd. So the reality situation dictates these are the type of fights that we're going to have now. You can have a lot of good fights, and you're going to have a lot of great fights right away coming out of the gate, out of the blocks. No, let's just be realistic about it.
Who's going to put on? Like I said, I mean, you have the crowd and everything like that. It's going to be, that's a gate that you're not going to get. So that's less money you're going to get. It just is, So, what are they going to just invest all this money to go overseas? And it's too early for that. It's just getting back on track, man. You can't expect a super fight right now.
Yeah, you got to take baby steps with this. I don't think the Top Rank card is bad at all.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And you know what? You think about it, like, you got this Top Rank card coming up. It's not bad. Both of these cards are not bad. Those UFC fights, again, I mean, they're not bad. You're not going to see in boxing, man, you're not going to see a pay-per-view card right now. How would it look if they do a pay-per-view card right out the gate and something like the Michaela Mayer situation happens? Then what? Then your star's gone. That card may potentially fall apart depending on who the guy who's getting, who comes down with this. It's a lot of risk. There's a lot of risk to it now.
It sure is.
So I tell you what, man, it's not good, man. It's not a good situation. But we got to move forward. What else are we going to do? Just, you know what I'm saying? When is PBC coming back? I mean,
supposed to be in July. Supposed to be in July.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I heard, is it Matchroom's coming back in August?
I thought Matchroom was going to come back in July as well, but I don't know.
I
could be wrong. I thought he was saying he was going to do it in.
So
July,
what is he? I don't understand. What's he complaining about? What's Hearn complaining about? I mean, just that
he's always taking shots.
Yeah, I mean, look at some of his London cards. They're not great matchups. I mean,
a lot of those DAZN cards weren't great. No. They weren't great fights, man.
No, and we're paying for DAZN. How about that? Let that marinate.
I wasn't crazy about watching Cheeseman and some of those guys. I mean,
no. I like those guys. Listen, I like those guys. But if you're going to down another product, if you're gonna slam another product, then at least make sure your product is a whole lot better. And I'm not 100% sure that it is. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know what he's thinking about. All right, let's go to the upcoming fights here, as we've been talking about them. June 9th, boxing is back. Top Rank is back on ESPN. Shakur Stevenson headlining against Felix Caraballo, 10 rounds junior lightweights. Jared Anderson versus Johnny Langston, 6 rounds heavyweights. Guido Vianello versus Donald Hainsworth, 6 rounds heavyweights. Robeisy Ramirez. This is one I'm really curious to see. Robeisy Ramirez versus Yuri Andujar, 6 rounds featherweights. Listen, man, let's talk about this Robeisy Ramirez fight for a minute. Robeisy came out of the gate. This is the gold medalist in the Olympics, beat Shakur Stevenson in the Olympics. Very close fight, though. Beat him in the Olympics, but came out of the gate, lost his first pro fight. We heard, what are your thoughts on this kid, man? That's a tough thing to come back from. There's a big spotlight on you. That's a tough thing to come back from.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's a tough one. All right, so Shakur Stevenson versus Felix Caraballo. It's 10 rounds, junior lightweights. I like Shakur Stevenson in this. I don't think there's any. I think this is a good get back fight for him, in the sense that everybody's been on the shelf due to this. Whether he would have been on the shelf because of this or not, it doesn't matter. I mean, everybody's been on the shelf. We're anxious to see boxing back. Shakur Stevenson, a big name, a good name to come back with, and let's see how he handles this guy. Caraballo is no pushover. I want to see how he handles him. I think that I want to see how he does. Is he going to knock this guy out? Is he going to coast to a decision? How's he going to look? A lot of questions I got for Stevenson in this fight.
Yeah.
Let's see here. That's on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So Thursday, June 11th. Is that right? It's Thursday, June 11th.
Let me double check for you.
Yep, Thursday, June 11th. The card from ESPN in Las Vegas. Jesse Magdaleno versus Yenifil Vicente, 10 rounds, junior lightweights. Adam Lopez versus Luis Correa, 10 rounds, featherweights. And Brian Lua versus Dan Murray, 6 rounds, lightweights. I suspect that Magdaleno wins that one fairly easily. It's another get back fight or whatever, another comeback type fight. Kind of knock the rust off. So I mean, not stellar cards, but I wouldn't expect stellar cards coming back.
Yeah, we got, like I said, the expectations shouldn't be exceptionally high.
No.
Now, we don't want to see squash matches for the next 6 months, but
right.
We're not.
But this is okay.
But this is good. This is good enough for now.
Yeah, this is coming. This is good.
Just be happy we got boxing,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you've been without it for so long, and then you're going to complain about the cards. Right?
Ridiculous.
Notorious VC said, when is Ringside Robbie coming back? July? Oh, my goodness. Ringside Robert. He's got his fans. They love him.
Yeah.
They love him.
Well, 2 of them.
Oh, stop it. What's the matter with you? What's the matter with you? Come on, Beeb. Get it together over there. Okay. Get it together over there.
Yeah, sure.
Come on. All right, so Eddie Hearn. Speaking of Eddie Hearn, he's looking to make Devin Haney versus Luke Campbell. Eddie Hearn is looking to make that fight in August. The fight would take place in Florida. Hearn said he ultimately wants to make Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia, but admits that it could take some time. I don't see that fight happening, I'll be honest. I don't see Golden Boy getting together. Listen, man, you got Ryan Garcia. He's an up-and-comer. They're going to go this way with Garcia. They're going to go this way with Haney. That fight ain't happening anytime soon unless they both become megastars, which I believe Haney has the ability to do. And Garcia, Garcia's getting better and better, though.
You don't think
so?
It would be nice to see Haney get the winner of the Lomachenko fight with what's his name there?
Teofimo
yeah.
Lopez.
Yeah.
Man.
Could you imagine
that one? Could you imagine that one?
That would be great.
Because I think Loma's going to win that fight. You think Teofimo's going to win that fight?
I think Teofimo's going to knock him out.
I think Haney beats either one of them, though.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Who do you?
I think I like Teofimo, man. I like that kid.
Do you like Haney versus Lomachenko?
Maybe. I think maybe I would slightly favor him. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man. I remember the Gary Russell fight, and Gary Russell is such a good fighter. You know, he's such a good fighter, but Lomachenko just dismantled that guy. That's what was nuts about it. Lomachenko
but I'm starting to see a little bit of slippage. I thought Luke Campbell did some good work against him. I think Linares did some good work against him. I was surprised.
Yeah. All right. So, hey, Beeb, we're joined by the Beast.
What's going on, my man?
The
how are you?
Beast, how are you?
I'm
Nice
doing
to
pretty
see
good.
Aleem. How are you, man?
I'm doing pretty good. No complaints. You know, I'm doing good.
No complaints. We all got complaints.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of complaints. I need a fight date. You know, I got a lot of complaints.
Right? Yeah, what's going on with that? What's going on with your fights, man? I mean, obviously I know the COVID situation, but have you heard like when you're going to fight next?
Honestly, no, I haven't. You know, I've been in the gym. I've been prepping and preparing. I'm hoping to fight in August. I wouldn't be surprised if I got a call in July, but you know, we'll see. I just need a date, and you know, I'll be ready.
Now, February you made your television debut. Is that correct on Showbox?
Yes.
Are you heading back there, or do you see yourself on Showbox on Showtime, or are you going to Fox? Where's the next fight going to be televised? Do you think?
I believe the next fight should be Showtime. I believe I'll be the main event on Showtime.
Yep.
You know, PBC and everything. I like those guys. Everything's going good. I believe it's going to be Showtime. I'm kind of open to other possibilities. It just kind of depends on where the opportunity is.
So let me ask you this. So you said you're going to be headlining. Now, would you take like a co-feature, or if you want a bigger card on Fox where you can get more exposure, would you be open to taking a card on Fox even if you weren't the headliner, or would you rather? Are you kind of hell bent on being the headliner because once you get that status, you want to hold on to it?
He's the headliner, son. He's the headliner.
Well, you know, definitely want to be the headliner, but it also depends on that fight, you know. So I wouldn't mind being the co-feature, but it just kind of depends on that fight. Now, if that fight elevates my career, then ultimately I'm still going to be the headliner, just on a wider.
Well, because Fox is such a huge platform, I would think that, you know, that may sway you to go to Fox instead of on Showtime. No disrespect to Showtime, I'm just saying Fox is much
just
bigger.
diss Showtime.
Right.
You know.
Well, I love Showtime, you know, and to be the headliner on Showtime would be it'd be pretty awesome.
I got
to
you.
watch, you know. But also just depends. So I can't say no to anything, you know. I'm ready to fight anybody.
Slim pickings right now, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, it kind of works in my favor because a lot of people are ducking and dodging, and it's like, yo, we got to get the fans good fights. You can't run forever, you know. You can't duck everybody. So what can you do? Fight the best.
That's it, man. That's it. You know, I saw this guy fight. I was looking it up, and I saw you fight in your fourth pro fight against Devontae Allen in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Yes, sir.
I was there at that card. Saw you fight and everything like that. And I was like, all right. So there you go, man.
That's what's up, yo. That's what's up. See, that was I was undefeated, you know, early in my career. I'm not scared. I'm ready to fight anybody. I fought another undefeated fighter. You know, I believe I actually dropped him in the first round too. Yeah, I dropped him in the first round.
Unanimous. Yeah, I remember it was unanimous.
In his hometown, Adrian Broner undercard, you know, hostile territory. You know, it's just after that, nobody wanted to fight me. It was great for my career, but at the same time, it kind of hindered it because nobody would fight me. And, you know, I stayed in the gym. I ended up getting with a big time manager. I thought my career would kind of take off and didn't really go that route. But here we are.
Now you got a background in martial arts, correct?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever thought about going into MMA? Like before you got into boxing, was there ever, you know, a choice on the table? Am I going to go boxing or am I going to go MMA? Did you ever think of that? And what made you decide to go?
At the time, no, because MMA wasn't really big at that time, and plus I always knew that there's more money in boxing. I loved karate. Karate was super fun. I would love to fight a high level opponent in MMA. I do it for fun, but obviously, we're doing it to win. But for fun, oh yeah, 100% I do it. But career wise, boxing, this is what I'm about.
Wow. So you were a black belt, right? You were a black belt like by 12, right? Is that what I saw? 12?
Yeah, I was 12 turning 13, and then I started
Yeah.
boxing at 14. Yep. Traveling around, go to tournaments, all that. It was a bunch of fun.
Wow.
Now you're from Michigan, which is a great area, a lot of rich history in boxing in the Midwest. But we're seeing a lot of guys, not just you, but a lot of guys moving to Vegas. Now, what is it about Vegas that attracts you? Because again, like I said, that area that you came out of is very rich in boxing history, and I'm sure there was a lot of fighters that you could have got some work with. What made you go to Vegas?
Well, Vegas, I believe, is like the mecca for boxing. Outside of the weather, outside of the distractions, you get a lot of high level fighters that live here, that come through here. It's big on tourists, so you might run into a fighter from Australia. It's just a whole nother style, but you get to absorb that, and just being around all the former world champions, all the world champion trainers and stuff. It's just stuff that you soak in. So I believe Vegas is definitely the mecca for boxing, and ever since I moved here, I believe it definitely elevated me as a man and as a fighter.
Now you're from Muskegon, in Michigan. So what was it? I mean, do you know anybody out in Las Vegas, or you just said, "Hey, I'm just going to make the move. I'm gone."
Well, my trainer at the time, who is still a part of my team, Terry Markowski, he's like a father figure to me. We traveled out to Vegas once, and we trained and stuff like that. We trained with can't remember who it was, but I kind of beat the guy up. He was undefeated. He had like 14 fights, and and it let us know like, okay, I can really do this to a high level guy. And then went back to Muskegon, and Nonito Donaire was training for a fight, and he flew me out. So I stayed in Vegas for 30 days just by myself. I didn't leave the hotel room. The only time I left the hotel room was the train. It was like super lonely. It was crazy, but yeah, so that kind of like sparked my mind. Like, okay, if I'm going to continue to do this, I'm probably going to have to make a move to Vegas to really do it, and this was like 6-7 years ago. That seed was planted.
So how do you stay, like, because you're in Vegas, right? I mean, you're right there. I mean, I know you don't live on the Strip, obviously. Nobody just lives on the Strip, But how do you avoid those pitfalls there? I mean, it's a fun place to be. At least for tourists, it's a fun place to be. A lot of girls, a lot of gambling, a lot of everything. You know what I mean? How do you just stay? How do you stay on that straight and narrow and not get tempted by all that?
It's business before pleasure. I'm not where I want to be at in my life, my personal life, my boxing life, and it's business before pleasure. So like you can go out on a Monday, Tuesday, whatever, and it's like a Friday, Saturday night. So there's a lot of distractions if you let yourself be distracted. So I just try to stay grounded, and ultimately I have a goal that I'm like really trying to accomplish. So
Yeah,
that's how that's just kind of is in the back of my mind, and I just hold on to that.
So let me ask you, like, how far away, and there's really no way to tell because of everything going on, but your feeling with your preparedness and everything like that, how far away realistically are you from a title shot?
Honestly, I feel like I'm like 2 fights away. I want to fight twice this year and early next year, get that world title shot. If I had the opportunity to do that this year, I got the pen in my hand, I'm signing it. I feel like I'm ready. It's just all about the opportunity. And that is, the politics behind that.
What goes on? So explain it to me for people who don't really know, because you talk about the politics and everything like that. You're a good fighter. From the outside looking in, like, somebody who doesn't know anything about the business. or if you're just talking to somebody casually and they say, well, you're a good fighter. You got 10 knockouts. You got, you're beating everybody. How is it you're not getting fights? How is it you're not getting, I don't understand. What do you have to do to get fights? I thought that you just challenge somebody and they fight. What are the ins and outs here?
Ultimately, that's what I always thought. But for instance,
Right.
Brandon Figueroa, he has a belt. We want to fight him. My people reached out to his people. His people said he's looking for an easier fight. For I don't know if it's just coming back or because he just won the title. I don't know, but that's just what I was told that his people said. So it's like, okay, and that's a little bit of politics behind that. And it's like, well, so I'm kind of X'd off the list. Let me go pick this guy. Or like a Stephen Fulton, I tried to fight him in January. My people reached out to his people. They didn't want to fight. He chose whoever he fought. And, that's, the politics behind that. So you may get 2-3 guys. They say no to the 2. They say yeah to the 1. And that fight happens.
Yeah, it's got to be a frustrating thing. I mean, it's one of those things where you're ready, you're right there at the door, and it's got to be frustrating. How do you deal with like the rankings? You're ranked number 13 by the WBA right now. How does that? I mean, how does that play into things?
Well, if we're talking about rankings, I seen Marcus Bates was ranked number 8, and I beat him, and I'm like, how am I 13?
How's that even possible?
Right, I don't even know, but I guess it just goes on who you fight, who you beat, and then who they fought, and then who they beat. If you're fighting 20 nobodies, you're at the bottom of the list. If you're fighting 20 somebodies, you're at the the top tier. So that's kind of how that goes like that. And I feel like I should be number 8 or really number 1, but it just
who do you? When those come out. All right, so this is a good. So when those ratings come out and you see that you're ranked number 13 and the dude you beat is ranked number 8, after throwing furniture across the room, who do you break a phone call off to? Like, hey, what's going on here? I mean, I'd be furious. I mean, it's got to be maddening, right?
I mean, honestly, I'm not the number 1. I'm not number 1 or number 2. So just in that aspect alone, I'm throwing furniture. I'm not. It's just kind of like that. Like I want to be that number 1 spot. So the fact that I did beat somebody that's currently number 8, it just kind of lets me know in my mind. It's like, okay, I'm truly number 8. Number 7, number 6, whatever, and the numbers just is what it is. But if we fight, I'll be able to showcase that to the world, and they will be able to see.
So, like Eric said, you're ranked number 13, and obviously you want to get that title shot. But you don't have that in the immediate future. Is there anyone else in that top 10 that you're going to be gunning for so you can advance yourself, almost put yourself in a position where they have to fight you?
Oh, well, for sure. I'm a huge fan of Stephen Fulton. I think he's a world champion caliber fighter. If there's new trainers out there training fighters, I believe he has a model jab. His record and his resume speaks for itself. So I would love that fight. I seen he did an interview. He said he wanted to fight like a Angelo Leo, but I don't think Angelo Leo wants that fight right now. Again, I got the pen. We can make this happen right now.
So because of the pandemic, everyone's been on the shelf for a while, and a lot of people are going to be apprehensive to jump right into a tough fight. What is your mentality about that? Are you ready? Like if a big tough fight comes down the pike for you right out of the gates, are you ready to grab that with 2 hands?
It's the nature of the beast. Yes, sir. 100%. I've earned everything that I've gotten. Nothing's been handed to me, so I'm waiting for that opportunity. Just like the opportunity came up with Adam Lopez. Every time I've stepped up, I've dominated.
Yeah.
So that tells me something. It should tell everybody else something too. I came off a 2.5-year layoff, moved to a new city. I was training myself, and I dominated Marcus Bates, who's ranked number 8. I didn't just beat him, I dominated. So every time I step up, it's just, I'm ready. I want that. That's why I'm in boxing. I want the big fights. I want to fight the best of the best, just like Stephen Fulton. I believe he's a world champion. He just hasn't had that fight yet, so that's why I want to fight him. And we can do that next.
And that was a solid victory over Lopez. I believe you're only the second man to have stopped him, and you stopped him in 4 rounds, which is pretty impressive. That's a quick stoppage.
Thank you. Yeah,
he's
a lot of hard work.
He's a durable guy. He's normally a tough out, and you made short work of him. So that's
Yeah,
impressive.
I mean, I didn't go out there gunning for the knockout.
Yeah.
I wanted to knock him out, but that wasn't my intent. Everything just kind of fell into place. Styles make fights. I just capitalized on some of the mistakes he made, and I was fortunate enough to get the win and the stoppage.
How good does that feel? You go in there with the intent that, I'm in there with a tough guy. I'm probably good chance I'm going to go the distance, but then you get the knockout. How good does that make you feel? Explain that when that just, because you seem like a guy that's a methodical type guy. Like you said, I would think of you maybe as a boxer puncher more or less. And you're not like a guy that's going to go out there and force the knockout. You let it come. So that must be even sweeter for you when you get a stoppage like that in a fourth round.
Oh, well, one of my greatest attributes is I'm an action fighter. Like, people love watching me fight. I'm throwing punches, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. You not only see skill, but you see action. Like, I'm not running,
Yeah.
I'm not holding. And when people, oh, this guy's tough, he's so tough, and this and that, and I go out there and knock him out. So, I just let that go in one ear and out the other. I'll be the judge of how tough this guy is. I thought Lopez was tough, but I did what I did to him. So I don't want to, oh, this guy's tough. Oh, he's a world champion. I'll be the judge of that.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of how I feel about that. It's just in one ear and out the other. And that's just through experience.
So when you go into the fights, you're not caring about the reputation. Everyone's the same. You look at everyone as the same, and you're not looking at this guy's, up here and this guy's down here, whatever. Everyone's on the same level. That way you approach every fight the same, and your mentality. There's no letdown. You train the same for every guy. In other words.
Yeah. I mean, the beautiful thing about boxing is it only takes one punch. It only takes one punch for me to knock him out. But I have to be smart enough and humble enough to understand it only takes one punch for me to be knocked out.
Correct.
So I approach every fight the same. Every fight, like Lopez, I'm training like he's a world champion. Like I put in the work. Like jogging 10 miles, 12 miles, or doing this or doing that. I'm doing whatever it takes to be the best I can be and to win. Like I recently got into yoga not too long ago. It's all the little things.
Now, is this something? Let me ask you a question. Like, you said you're like, obviously we know you're an action type fighter. You describe yourself as an action type fighter. How well does this play off? I mean, because you would think with an action type fighter, I mean, you're going to get a lot of fights, you can get a lot of options, but it doesn't really work that way sometimes, right?
No, it really doesn't. I mean, you would think, but it's and that just kind of ties into the politics. Maybe there are people don't want to fight you, or is this or is that, or so ultimately if I continue on the path that I'm going, they'll be forced to. Sometimes there's contingencies, like mandatories. So that is the situation that I have to put myself in, so they can't run. It's mandatory, and that's the ultimate goal.
But here's the bad news about the mandatories. If you read those those rules, you can be the mandatory, but then you have to still fight 10 eliminators. And then it says, even though you're the mandatory, the WBC, for instance, we have the right to, not give you the fight. We are the ones that enforce the mandatory. In other words, even though you're the mandatory, there's always like a catch-22 where they don't have to give you a fight. Look at Dillian White. Look how long this guy's been ranked number one, and he's been promised title shot. This guy's been he was ranked number one for like 3 years, and guys ranked below him became the mandatory. It's just absurd.
And I feel that's the politics behind it. It's just kind of like, what else can you do but stay on your grind and keep winning? I mean, you keep winning, it's gonna happen. But man, like 3 years, whew.
but on a positive note, you do have PBC behind you. You are connected to a very reputable organization, so that in itself is very positive.
That's a big one,
right,
man.
that, but also being managed by Greg Hanley and Prince Ranch Boxing. I'm very blessed to be a part of that. I can't stress that enough. Like, I truly am coming from Michigan, no family, no friends, no support system, not really knowing what I'm gonna do. But I believed in myself, and I hit the ground running because that's what I had to do to get to where I'm at now.
Now,
You know, and
correct me if
That's the
I'm wrong.
crazy part. Go ahead. I'm sorry, babe.
I apologize, Eric. Correct me
No,
if
you're
I'm
fine.
wrong. When you first started out, and you turned pro, you were still working at another job at the time. Is that correct or no? So
yeah,
talk about the challenges of that, because I remember going to like the Somerville Boxing Club here in Massachusetts, and I would see guys like, you know, bring their work gear in and then go and change, like working construction all day, and then, you know, change and train at night. How difficult is that?
oh, it's extremely difficult. You know, you have to manage your time right, training, everything. Fortunately enough, the managers that I worked with liked me, corporate, everybody liked me and everything. And there was they knew that I fought, and they kind of like worked with me if I need to go out of town to maybe to fight, do this or that. But it's definitely challenging. You know, right out of work, working 8 hours, boom, going straight to the gym to spar somebody who's just been doing nothing all day, you know, and stuff like that. Or you have to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go train and then go to work. It's very challenging, but trials and tribulations.
100%.
That's a big deal, man. How often do you get back to Michigan?
You know, I'm able to touch back down every now and then, check in with some family and friends and stuff like that. I'm actually I'm waiting to get some type of a title so I can go out and kind of make it a big deal, you know. You know, because I have a big fan base there, but just want to make it a big deal, and just also inspire the youth. You know, like, I'm from here, and if you stay committed, this is a possibility. You know, this can happen.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal to go back to your hometown like that, you know?
No.
Yeah. Very good, man. Very good. Well, do you have a social media, like a Twitter or anything like that you can give us?
Well, I have Instagram. I'm on Instagram. Yeah, I'm trying to upload more videos. It's just harder because it's like when I'm in the gym, it's tunnel vision. You know, I'm not doing it for the clout. But I'm not even working out and stuff like that. No, I don't do that. You know, so I don't go to the gym and I have 20 cheerleaders, you know, all recording me. It's straight tunnel vision. Whether that's the boxing gym, the fitness gym, yoga, it doesn't matter. That's just how I've literally always been. And
well, you know what? I don't buy the excuses. I got to be honest, Raeese. I don't buy the excuses why you can't get on social media. I mean, you're in Vegas. You can have 20 cheerleaders anytime you want, anytime. I mean, what else have you got to do besides be on social media? What do you go to the gym and train? I mean, come on.
You can find me on Instagram.
We want to see you on there at the car dealers, picking up cars, Ferraris and Benzes and stuff like that, you know, and at the jewelers, getting handmade jewelry up, you know. I mean, come on, man. Step up your game.
No, well, okay, so you can find me on social media on my Instagram at Aleem Boxing. The ultimate goal is to do exactly what you said, is to upload more videos of what I do, how I prepare, and how, you know, and all that. So that's the ultimate goal for sure.
Absolutely, man.
Any beefs yet on Instagram or no?
Nah, no beefs yet. You know,
we got to start a beef with him, babe. We got to get this guy in the mat. Let's start a beef with him.
Look, I'd say I'd beef with Stephen Fulton, but I'm a huge fan. You know, he's an amazing fighter, and I just want the opportunity. You know, if he wants to fight another undefeated fighter, a real dog, let's make that fight happen. You know, if
be a man, Stephen Fulton. Step up. Be a man. Tell him to be a man.
If he thinks he can beat me, okay, then what's the problem? You know, so we'll see. We'll see.
Colin West is going to knock out Stephen Fulton. That's what he said right here on this radio wave here. He said he's going to knock out Stephen Fulton in the 30 seconds. That's what he said. Right? Look at him. Look at him flexing. The beast, son. The beast. Love it.
I got the pen ready. Hey, I got the pen ready.
Gotta make a shirt. You gotta get a shirt. I got the pen ready.
How's
that? Good idea.
I got you. Next time I'm on, I'm rocking it. Right.
I know. We got to get shirts like that, babe.
I got the pen ready.
I got the pen. Yeah, that's right. I got the pen ready. That's what you got to put on there.
I like that.
I'm keeping the same energy that I'm bringing from 2019 into 2020. You know, I was stopping out of the last 5 guys I've fought, I've stopped 4. You know, and I'm keeping that same energy going all year. You know, like, that's the goal. If that's what I got to do to make noise, if that's what I got to do to get the respect I feel like I deserve in the boxing community, that's what I'm gonna do. You know, so
There it is.
Gotcha.
All right, man. Well, I tell you what, we appreciate you coming on, man. Hey, next time when you sign a fight, come back on. Let us know and everything like that, man. Come back on here for sure, man.
Oh yeah, sound good. Thank you for having me. Again, man, I can't wait to get a fight date. I'm ready. I'm ready. So stay tuned.
Awesome, man.
All right,
Thank
man.
you so much, man.
Have a good
We
one.
appreciate it. Have a good one.
All right.
He was good, man. He was really good. I like him a lot. Get the pen ready. I got the pen ready. That's what he needs. He needs shirts like that. I got the pen ready.
Get the pen ready, Daddy.
You know, you got to put his Instagram instead of Raeese Aleem boxing. I got the pen ready. That's his Instagram. That's right there. There you go. What else you got? Gotta love it. Gotta love it, man. It's good stuff, man. Good stuff. He's a good fighter too, man. It's got to be frustrating, like when you're that guy and you're that good, to not be. I think it's like one of those things. I think it's just the wait for. You know what I mean? Because he's got to kind of wait for that shot, and he sees people that he beat ahead of him in the rankings and stuff. It's got to be frustrating, but he keeps doing what he's doing. It's gonna come, man, for sure.
If you try to make sense out of what those sanctioning bodies are doing and try to rationalize some of the decisions, you'll end up going crazy. You'll end up going crazy.
It's insane, right?
It's so crazy, and I hate to change the subject, but one thing this virus taught me is everything is political now. Like we're seeing we're seeing so much legislation try to, like, everything in this world is political. Everything. See people getting laid off, and it's like, it's just crazy. Certain people are getting laid off, but other people aren't, and certain businesses can open and certain can't. It's just each state is different.
It's ridiculous.
How is the WWE an essential business, but yet other businesses aren't? It's amazing. So
it is. It's all politics. I mean,
everything in life is political. I firmly believe that.
It really is. It sucks too, because like I said, I mean, now they're like I said, I mean, people that are out of work. You know what I mean? People that were out of work. Some people are still out of work because of this. They had a lot of jobs come back, but then at the same time, it's still not back where it was, and it's not going to be for a long time, and it may never be. May never be. Yeah. It's just crazy, man. It's crazy. What can you do? What can you do? All right, let's talk about this here. I see a lot of people in the chat talking about this. So Pacquiao, Manny Pacquiao, and Freddie and Triple G, everybody was kind of going on about this and everything earlier in the week. Freddie Roach was actually interviewed by Chris Mannix this week, and he said some interesting things, if you want to say. He said, quote, "One thing about Manny is he doesn't want to beat just anybody. He wants to fight the top guys like Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia called him out a couple of times. I think that's a good fight for him, of course. Robert called him out on one of your shows. It made me smile because I like that fight for Manny. I think it's a great fight. Well, I mean, he had a chance to fight Mikey Garcia, but whatever. But he said, but the thing is, Manny might want to go a little bit higher and fight Triple G or one of those guys who's supposed to be the best guy in the world today, because Pacquiao still desires to be the best there is." Is Freddie Roach on crack? I don't understand. Like, I mean, this is just a headline bit. I get that. And I started looking at this and I said, wait a minute. How is this even possible? But Pacquiao's won a title as high as 154. Now, I think it was a catch weight of 150 at that. But I think he's won a title at 150. He's won a title at 154. Going up to 160 is one more step up. He's 38, right? I believe he's 38.
Yeah.
He's going to get old anytime now. I mean, I think we're waiting for him to get old. He has shown slippage, a lot of slippage. Well, why is Freddie Roach talking? Why is he talking like this, man?
Well, because Golovkin didn't look great in his last fight. He didn't look great in his last fight at all. And I'm going to be honest with you. He looks like he's having a hard time making 160. When I see him at the weigh-ins, he looks very drawn.
Yeah.
He doesn't look good. So if they made that fight at a catch weight of let's say 157 or 156, I'm not going to lie to you. I give Pacquiao a chance. I do.
What?
Because I give Pacquiao a chance of outboxing him. I do.
Really?
I really do. If Golovkin has a hard time dealing with speed, it really does.
Well, he had a hard time. He had a hard time with Kell Brook. He had a harder than expected time with Kell Brook, put it that way. Had a hard time with Canelo in the second fight.
Yeah.
Canelo is very fast. Derevyanchenko Derevyanchenko was his last fight, wasn't it?
Derevyanchenko is a small guy. He's like 5'8".
Thought he beat him. Yeah.
I thought he beat him. I thought he clearly won the fight.
Yeah,
clearly won the fight.
Was not a gimme fight for him.
Golovkin should not be fighting at 160 anymore. He can't make. He's having a really hard time. I could just look. I'm looking at his body. He just looks so drawn out at 160. Freddie Roach is a smart guy. He knows when a guy is ripe. And right now, Golovkin is ripe. Golovkin could lose his next fight if he fights a lot. I don't think Golovkin can beat Billy Joe Saunders right now.
No.
I'm going to say something. I think Jacobs could possibly stop him in a rematch at this point.
I think so too. I like Jacobs a lot. I thought he won the first fight. I did. I thought he won the first fight. Most people that I talked to there thought he won the first fight as well.
And I had the Jacobs Canelo fight razor close. Even though, people say, oh, well, Jacobs got a way of just, stealing the rounds in the second half of the fight. Okay, it doesn't matter. But he won them. He won a majority of the rounds in the second half of the fight. I thought it was a close fight.
JC in the chat just said Chavez Jr. versus Triple G. I think that's
Chavez Jr. was offered $7 million to fight Golovkin, and he didn't take it.
Well, he's got bigger fish to fry. I mean, he's got he's got to eat cereal and roll around in that green sports car he's got.
He should have taken that fight.
It's insane. It's insane though. So, do you think that fight comes off?
No, I think he fights Crawford next. Pacquiao fights Crawford next.
I think he gets dismantled by Crawford. I don't even think that's not a good idea.
It's a tough fight for him.
You think he gets dismantled? You think he gets knocked out?
People are critical of Crawford against Kavaluskas. He got knocked down, whatever. They saying he looked human. But I'll tell you one thing. Crawford will not be complacent against Pacquiao.
No.
I don't think he'll go southpaw very often in that fight because he knows the right hand is going to be the killer weapon for him.
Yeah.
That could be a fight that Pacquiao could get hurt in, I think. Yeah.
I think so too. That's not a good fight. You saw Keith Thurman hit him with those right hands.
Yeah.
Over and over and over. Pacquiao ultimately won the decision, but
it's a weird thing It's a weird thing with Manny Pacquiao because generally fighters move in the direction of their lead hand, but for whatever reason, Pacquiao moves to his left instead of moving to his right as a south. When you watch a southpaw fight, the general movement, the general direction they go in is to their right. For whatever reason, Pacquiao moves to his left. He walks into right hands. It's bizarre that he does that. Like he'll step to his left and then throw his left hand instead of stepping to his right. Like when you watch a fighter throw a 1-2, they'll the jab and then they lean to the direction of where the punch is going, the right hand. They lean, they lean to their left when they throw the right hand, right? Pacquiao's a southpaw, so instead of leaning to his right when he throws the left hand, he steps over and throws it. It's the weirdest thing. I don't understand why he does it. Maybe because I'm thinking he does that because he does everything else with his right hand. The only thing he does lefty is box. He eats, he writes with his right hand. So maybe that's why he does that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing.
Know. It's the weirdest thing.
And they were saying in the Marquez fight that it was a lucky shot that got him. That was not a lucky shot that got him. That was
he landed it a couple
counter
times.
Punch.
He landed it a couple times in the fight, and he knocked him down with it one time in the fight too.
Yeah, for sure. And he caught him at the right time. Boom. And it was a time shot. It was a time shot, you know.
I love the fact that Marquez didn't give him a rematch either. Fuck you. You know, you made, you know, you got those decisions all the time when I, you know, why am I going to risk getting robbed again?
You could argue the fight going to Marquez, the other fights going to Marquez. You really could.
I gave Pacquiao the first fight. I thought Marquez won the second, and he clearly won the third fight. Oh my God, that was a horrible decision in the third fight. I thought he won that third fight.
You know, I mean, Pacquiao knocked him down, 3 times in that first fight in the first round?
Yeah.
I think it was 3 times or something like that.
I thought Pacquiao won the first fight.
But I thought he did nothing after that. I really did. I thought he did nothing after that.
I gave him the second round, and I think he won. I gave him the 12th. Mm-hmm. And I think I gave him the first, second, 11th, and 12th. Now there was a long stretch of him not winning a round, but I thought he finished the fight. I thought he started the fight strong and finished the fight strong. In the middle, he lost the whole middle. But if you think about it, I had him winning 4 rounds, and I had Marquez winning 8. But one of those rounds, you know, it was a 10-7. So you get a 10-7, and then it's
hard to come back from that.
It's hard to come, you know,
hard to come back from that.
That's a 3-point. That's the equivalent of losing 3 rounds.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's a tough one to come back from scoring wise for sure. So, yeah, but I think that him fighting Crawford, and that seems to be the odds-on favorite. That's not a good fight for him. That's a terrible fight for him. I like the Golovkin fight better than I like the Crawford fight. I'll tell you that.
As crazy as it sounds,
good, man.
The Golovkin fight may be a less difficult one for him.
It's insane. It's insane. All right, Beeb, your boy, Conor McGregor from the UFC, retires from MMA. Conor McGregor took to social media last night to announce his retirement. He posted the following: "Hey guys, I've decided to retire from fighting. Thank you for all the amazing memories. What a ride it's been." Now, this isn't the first time he's retired from from MMA. How long do you think this lasts?
Well, here's
2
the thing.
months?
Sugar Ray Leonard was notorious for doing this, but he would actually retire for like a year or 2 years or 3 years even, and then he would come back. This guy announces his retirement, and then, like you said, a week later, a month later, there's a fight announced for him. Dana White was being interviewed, and he said this. He goes, "Well, I don't believe Conor McGregor. I think he just wants to get people talking about him, get his name out there. And what are we doing right now? We're talking about him. So he succeeded at what he wanted to do." Dana White said to the press corps after that UFC event yesterday. So I agree with Dana White. I think he's just trying to keep his name out there. I'm not even against him saying it. You know, I think he wants people to say, "Oh, don't retire, Conor." Like he wants people to kind of like. Almost wants people to want him. I want you to want me. You know, sort of like that the old song.
You know, the worst part about it, though, is if you want to announce your retirement, great. He announces it right toward the end of UFC 250, right by the main event and everything
because he wants to grab the headline.
That sucks, man.
Because he wants to grab the headline.
Sucks for Amanda Nunez.
Him and Floyd are so similar. It's ridiculous.
They're cut from the same cloth, right? I mean, they really are.
They could be like related, not even know it.
Sure.
That's how similar the two of them are.
It's insane, man. John Jones, UFC light heavyweight champion, or UFC former light heavy, said he's going to vacate his belt, whatever.
Yeah, he's not going to do that.
Listen, man, John Jones was in Albuquerque during the protests for the George Floyd protest and everything, and confronted vandals carrying spray paint and looking to do damages to businesses there. There's a video showing John Jones approaching one of the vandals. Jones told him, "Give me the spray can." The guy handed it over with no fight at all. Could you blame that? Could you imagine getting, if John Jones came up to you and said, give me the spray can, or give me your lunch. Hey, listen, man, it's going to him. I mean, I'm not fighting that battle. That's for sure.
Here you go, John. You want something else too? Would you like it?
Can I get you anything else?
Would you like a soda with that?
Right? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I mean, you're forced to give it back. You're forced to give him the spray can.
John, I never thought you did test positive. I thought that was fake. That test, John.
It was completely fake. I mean, of course you're natural. The other thing he did, which I thought was really cool, he posted a video of him. He's got like a crew with him, and they're boarding up businesses. So businesses that were either damaged or, don't want to get damaged during the whole thing. If they want to board it up, they can call him, and they're going to go ahead and board everything up and everything like that. So he really does. I believe he really does a lot in Albuquerque. I really do.
Well, here's the thing about John Jones. We can criticize him till the cows come home. Nobody's perfect. But there's a difference between not being perfect and wanting to be perfect. Like he actually wants to be a good person. He may not always know how to be.
He seems like a good guy, right?
When you look at him, deep into his core, obviously we can't, but you just get the sense that the guy wants to do the right thing. He just has a hard time doing it. You know what I mean? Some people have that mentality. Some people are just psychopaths. They don't give a shit about anything and they just do whatever they want to do. I don't throw him in that class. I think he necessarily wants to do the right thing, but every now and then he just strays off the path. I think a lot of things he does. I think he's an impulsive type person sometimes.
For sure. Sure. But I don't think you can really get to where he's at without being a little bit off. You know what I mean? You can't be the greatest at anything without being a little bit off.
To be a fighter, you have to be a different animal than the normal guy walking down the street. They're just you have to have some type of edge to you, to be a fighter, I think.
Well, it doesn't work the other way. You know what I mean? You're not, they all got a mean streak. If you're fighting, you have a mean streak somewhere, because normal people just don't want to hit other people in the face, or normal people can't hit other people in the face. A lot of people want to hit other people, but they can't pull that trigger. It's a difference.
Yeah.
So, Anthony Joshua suffers a knee injury. Anthony Joshua was said to have suffered a slight twinge, quote unquote, slight twinge in his knee while training. He said it should not affect his upcoming fight. I believe it's in November. Is that right, Beeb? It's in November, I believe.
I heard them talking about November. Is it 100% solid? I don't know.
I don't think anything's 100% solid right now.
Yeah, so I don't want to sit there and say what 100% certainty. Yes, but
sure,
I think so. It's been talked about. It's been talked about for November. So,
but it shouldn't affect him. It sounded like a twinge, and it looks like I guess he was at some protest. You saw him at some protest, and his legs all wrapped up.
He had like a brace on his knee or something like that, and then he was just saying the brace is just for extra precaution. I guess
the George Floyd protest. I guess.
Yeah, some protest. Yeah, I think it was.
How about that's going on in England and everything like that? I mean, it's all over the world, right?
That's insane. That's insane.
That is nuts, man.
Yeah.
I mean, first we had COVID, now we got this. It's just, it's maddening, man.
Yeah, I don't know what to say.
Crazy times.
Yeah, it's not good times.
Sad story today. Curtis Cokes, a member of the International Boxing Hall of Fame, passed away this week at the age of 82. Curtis Cokes, man, was a bad boy in the day. He was a bad man, I'll tell you that. Very good fighter back in the day.
Heart goes out to his family.
Absolutely. But he trained, I believe he trained, did he train Reggie Johnson? I know he changed Kirk Johnson, and who was the other big guy he trained? He trained a couple of heavyweights, I think. But he was a trainer. He got to be a trainer later on in his life. I guess around 85 or something like that.
He trained Ike Ibeabuchi.
Did he really?
Yeah.
That guy never lost, man.
Quincy Taylor, former WBC middleweight champion.
Did he ever get out of jail? Ibeabuchi, the president? I heard he was going to fight, because I remember there was like headlines talking about he was going to fight again, and I'm like, he's locked up.
I think he did get out of jail, but he was going to come back, but he's old now.
Yeah. What do you think? You think he would have been a champion?
Yeah. He was good.
Really?
Yeah, he was good.
He was that good. You think he would have beat Lennox Lewis?
I wouldn't pick him to beat Lennox Lewis, but he could beat Lennox. He could.
Yeah.
He could beat Lennox Lewis, but I wouldn't pick him to beat him.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah,
I think he
so
could have.
too.
I think he could have beat like a Evander Holyfield type fighter, a Michael Moore.
He had all the tools. Put
You
it
know?
that way. He had all the tools. He had all the tools. He went to prison, and the other guy, and I don't know if you remember this guy or not, man. Remember Tony Ayala?
Yeah.
That guy, the middleweight. I tell you what, man, that guy right there, I thought for sure was going to be a champion. I mean, he was right there, and then he got locked up. But I thought for sure he was the guy to be the man. Yeah, he was a really good fighter back in the day.
Abeabuchi got released from prison in 2015, which was 5 years ago, but he was supposed to
nothing
come
ever
back.
materialized. Yeah,
He was supposed to come back, but he never came back.
It's hard. I mean, that's the thing, man. It's hard. You're away from the game that long, and then you get older. It's a different kind of animal, man. People, and the thing is, people get bigger and they get stronger, they get faster. Nobody stays the same. The sport doesn't stay the same. It's going to get bigger. People, are going to be a lot better than you remember. And your skills aren't going to be the same as they were. So, yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough.
Yeah, it's a shame.
All right, guys. That'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Joe Habib on Twitter at jhabib1 and find our YouTube channel, easy for me to say, at ringsidereporterlive.com. On Twitter, I'm at ringside73, and we will see you next week.
Have a good one, guys.